Hi everyone, I'm Mamu Minokamo. Thanks for watching. I've been using OneDrive for years, but recently it's gotten over 70% full. So today, I'm going to move some files over to Google Drive. Moving hundreds of gigabytes can be a huge pain, but I've got a trick that makes it super easy. The best part? It doesn't use up any of your local PC storage.
Wait, for real? Don't you normally have to download everything to your PC first and then re-upload it? If I can skip that, that would be amazing! Woohoo!
Oh, hi, Mizuki. That method is fine for small files, but with this much data, that's not how we do it.
Yo, let me guess. You're gonna use something like N8N or Zapier, right?
Oh, hi, Shirakawa. Nice try, but no. N8N and Zapier are great tools, but for moving hundreds of gigs at once, they tend to crash or time out. So we're going with a different method.
Hold it right there. You just create a shared link, grab only what you need, and move it. Simple. Listen, Shirakawa. Tech isn't just about relying on AI and fancy tools, you know?
Oh, Seki-senpai! Good to see you! You're totally right. Shared links sound way easier.
Hello, Seki-san. Actually, we're not doing that either. With the amount of data we have, manual work takes forever, and local storage becomes a bottleneck. So we use Rclone. This tool connects the clouds directly, so you can migrate data without eating up any disk space.
Whoa, seriously? Something like that actually exists?
Oh, hey, Mizuki. Long time no see. Wait, you're shooting my idea down too?
All right then, let's get started. Oh wait, before that, we don't want you confusing this with any other channel. So let's do our usual identity verification sequence.
Moonlight strike, I'm the lunar swordsman, silver sparks on my skin, I'm born again. Shine, 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 destiny in my hands.
Sheesh. I've actually used Rclone before. Yeah, I guess that is the best choice. Anyway, the transformation scene is done, right? Let's get to work.
All right, first let's get Rclone set up. If you get stuck here, you can't go any further, so let's take this step carefully.
I just checked the official site. It looks like it supports all major operating systems. I'm really bad with command line stuff, though. Is the process the same for every OS?
Basically, yeah. The command syntax for Rclone is universal. The only real differences are the initial setup and the file paths. On Windows, like we're doing now, you can just run it from the folder where you placed rclone.exe. The concept is the same for Mac and Linux.
Right. I'll be showing you on Windows today, but the steps are almost exactly the same for everyone. First, let's check to make sure it's actually working.
Oh, the version info popped up. By the way, I heard there's an update command for this thing, right?
Exactly. That Rclone self-update right there is what you're looking for. Remember when we said, getting stuck here stops everything? That's because if you slack off on these checks now, you're gonna cry later.
That's right. It's always better to keep things updated. If the update fails, don't worry. You can just download the latest version from the official website and replace the file manually. Great. Looks like the update was successful. Let's check the version one more time, just to be safe. Okay, now the real work begins. First, here's the super important command, this one. Quick note here, the OneDrive you see listed right now is for OneDrive Personal. Today, I'll first demonstrate that the personal account connects properly. After that, we'll go through adding a new OneDrive Business account.
Hey look, it's got Box, Dropbox, the whole lot. And, SFTP too. So you can even hook this up to those restrictive shared hosting servers, huh?
Exactly. Now let's check the personal account. We'll list the contents to make sure it's connecting properly. There we go. Now we've confirmed two things. Rclone itself is working and the authentication is successful.
Whoa, I can actually see documents and pictures in the list. It really is connected.
Now, on to the main event. We're going to add the OneDrive Business account and run the same checks.
Hello everyone, making my debut here. Let me jump in with a tip. When you have both personal and business OneDrive accounts, the browser authentication often gets confused and causes errors. The trick is, close your personal account tabs first. Keep only the browser open that you intend to use for business.
Oh, Kakamigahara-san. Long time no see. How have you been?
Hey, Nakatsugawa-san. Good to see you. I'm doing all right somehow. What a coincidence meeting you here, though.
Hello, Kakamigahara-san. Oh, I didn't realize you two knew each other.
We literally just met today.
You act like that with strangers? That's weird. Whatever, let's move on.
Hey, I was watching you just now. You were just spamming the Enter key without typing anything, weren't you? And boom, the browser popped up.
That's actually correct for this part. In the terminal, you just hit Enter to accept the defaults. The actual login happens in the browser. However, if you're on a headless setup, meaning no browser, CUI only, it's a whole different story. You have to copy a URL and open it on another PC. If you don't read the instructions carefully there, you'll get stuck.
Makes sense. Now I see why AG insisted on opening the business browser specifically. If you log in with your personal account here, you'd end up connecting to the wrong remote entirely.
Wait, calling him by his first name already? Isn't that a little too friendly for a first meeting?
I really don't mind. It's fine. More importantly, it looks like the business account setup was a success. Good job blurring out the sensitive info too. Safety first.
Huh, that was actually simpler than I thought. So basically, you just hit Enter a bunch of times and then log in with the browser?
You brace yourself at first thinking it's going to be hard, but the actual steps are pretty simple.
For major services like OneDrive, it uses OAuth, so you just have to click Allow in the browser to connect. That makes it easy.
Exactly. Now, let's verify that it was registered correctly. If it doesn't show up here, we have to start all over again. By the way, if you set up Google Drive using the same steps, you'll be ready to start moving files immediately. Look, you can see another OneDrive added to the remote list. The name is OD. This is the business account we just added. Just to be safe, let's check the contents of OD to confirm it really is the business account. Okay, the folders are listed. No mistake there. These are definitely my business files.
Oi, what's this u-time.xlsx? Wait, isn't that a pachinko strategy log?
Gah! You saw it? Look, I just went through a phase of intensive training back in the day. I mean, it was basically free money. I couldn't resist.
Don't try to sugarcoat it with training. You're just a total pachinko degenerate, scavenging for easy wins like a vulture.
Yep, I'm checking the browser and the files match perfectly. Ms. U-Time.
All right, enough small talk. The target for this migration is this YouTube folder right here. We're going to move this entire folder straight to Google Drive. But first, let's take a quick look inside. Uh-oh, the text is totally garbled. Don't panic though. This detail is small, but super important. We need to set the character encoding in PowerShell to UTF-8. All you have to do is copy and paste this command. All right, let's try that list command one more time. See? The text is fixed, and we can read everything now. However, since the file names are fully visible from here on out, I'm going to blur them now, before you guys find anything else to roast me about.
Verification complete. So, we're off to Google Drive next. Listen, when dealing with massive file counts and sizes like this, it is always safer to copy first, not move. Copy the files, confirm they're visible on the Google side, and then delete the source.
Yikes! I was totally planning to just move everything to save time. Good call, Shirakawa-san.
Agreed. Let's play it safe and start with a copy. And since we're doing this, let's switch to the anti-gravity screen visuals to make it look exciting.
Did you just say visuals? Well, whatever, as long as it's easy to read.
Oh, hold on. The command I just entered isn't the real thing yet. I added the dry run flag. This means it's just a simulation to test the output without actually transferring any data.
First, we confirm that the source and destination are correct. Just basic accident prevention.
Right. With this many files, one wrong move, and it's game over. Okay, the test looked good. I'm removing the dry run flag. Here goes the real thing.
And we're rolling. Copy started. Is it okay if I go to sleep while this finishes? Well, we have logs, so I guess it's fine. Actually, even if the connection drops, you can just run the same command again. It automatically skips the files that are done and picks up where it left off. We should definitely explain that in detail later.
One important note here. It might look like the two clouds are directly connected, but your PC is actually acting as a relay, so it is using your internet bandwidth. However, there is good news. It uses almost zero local disk space. It's not saving the files to your drive, it's just streaming them through.
No way, it actually worked perfectly. Mamu-san, you used to set up a ton of these in Task Scheduler and Cron back in the day, didn't you?
Well, backups are essential, right? The strongest strategy is designing a system that lets you recover even if you fall asleep or the internet cuts out. It took some time, but finally, let's verify if the sizes match exactly. Doing this one step drastically reduces the chance of accidents. First, the source, 871 files, about 243 gigabytes. Next, the Google Drive side. Oh, 871 files here too. The size matches perfectly. And with that, the migration is a complete success.
Ms. U-Time, that is a total victory.
Quit bringing that joke back. Anyway, that's it for today. See you next time.